Good day, it's the Amateur Gardener, and today we are talking about the living Christmas tree.
Well, I've got news for you, I know you're waiting. Christmas is right here. Well, I've got news for you, I know you're waiting. Christmas is right here. Hold on, it's time for it to reappear.
Today we'll be potting an Araucaria heterophylla, also known as the living Christmas tree or the Norfolk Island Pine. We'll be talking about its preferred soil and the many different amendments you can use. The preferable soil mix is really simple. It's equal parts potting soil, sand, and peat, but I'll be making a custom mix today. Now this is our potting soil. It's made up of garden soil, cocoa dust, carbonized rice, humus, and vermicast. It lacks a bit of structure and the tree will need that so that it won't fall to its side. So I'll be adding a bit of garden soil to make it a bit firmer than it is. The first amendment I'll be using is garden soil. This one is a bit clayish like the ones I've used in my other videos. This will help make it a bit firmer so the tree doesn't like fall to one side. As you can see, it's a bit firm, but it's not good for the tree on its own because it's too firm and it likes loose soil like this potting soil. Can you see that? That's loose. That's good for drainage and that's good for our tree. And this is the firm one. Okay, so I'm adding the firmer one for moisture and for structure and to give the soil some structure, firmer structure. How many structures can you say? This is the first amendment I'll be adding to all of that. It's a rice hulls or rice husks. They only last 3 to 5 years sometimes, so you may want to add more after a few years and repot. Although some might recommend repotting after a year, but we can't always do that if the tree is big. Now this is perlite. This is another amendment we can add, and this is the ever famous perlite which a lot of people use. Not everyone has access to this, but if you do, this is really good. It comes from volcanic glass. It's heated to look like it does, and it helps aerate the soil. And this is pumice. It's also volcanic glass, but it comes in its natural form, just ground to smaller bits. So perlite's the light one, the pumice on the right is the heavier one, so you may want to consider that one is heavier than the other. And they both release moisture when the soil needs it, so it's really great. Now this is the sand. This is the first thing you can add, really, and it's the last one I'm showing among all the amendments. Okay, I'm showing you again the clayish garden soil. It's really tough, not good for drainage, but it will help make the soil sturdier, and the amendments will help break it up and provide good drainage and aeration to the soil. So here's a quick review. There's our garden soil, our sand for drainage, perlite for aeration and to keep the moisture in, and you can use pumice if you don't have that. You can also use rice hulls or rice husks if you don't have those. Many options. And this is our potting soil, which has all of it, just not enough garden soil. Okay? So there are many other combinations. Now, we have to make our soil richer so our tree will grow well. So we need organic fertilizer, and we are using vermicast. These are basically worm casts. You wondering what that is? Yep, it's worm poop. So worm poop, worm poop, worm poop. Lots of worm poop. Make our soil rather rich. Okay, so that's our mix. Now, I'm going to make it in a bigger batch now. And this is going to be a custom mix for my friend. You see, she's going to keep this tree in a balcony, a covered balcony in her condo, several stories high. So there won't be any sunlight coming from the top. So I have to put that into consideration when making her soil mix. But she will have some sunlight from the sides and from one side or maybe two sides, and it'll be windy, so I have to make sure the soil will give the tree the moisture it needs, and but at the same time, providing good drainage because it won't get sunlight from the top. Now, this is our beautiful concrete pot. I'm excited about it. I had to get something bigger than what the tree was in, and heavier so it won't topple over, but the tiny drainage hole is bothering me a bit. But I'm really excited about this tree. There's waterproofing on the sides, the paint won't bubble, but no waterproofing on the bottom so that the water can drain, and the concrete is porous so it won't retain too much moisture. And that's me dedicating it to them. Who doesn't love a heart? Okay, we're set. Here's the first batch. And you notice I used a lot of perlite, okay, because I really want to make sure that you won't have problems with drainage. I'm just mixing it in, breaking up the clumpy clayish soil. And here's the second batch of soil. Again, I'm mixing it in real well. And there's a tiny tree. It's the best tree I could find in all of the stores I went to, 6 in total. And I wanted a baby version of my trees, something beautiful and really green. And I'm just trying to loosen out all of the old soil, all of the cocoa husks rather. Those are perlite bits that are floating to the surface. Don't worry, I've got lots underneath. That's normal because it's really light. And then I'm adding, it's good by the way to add some water before you put the tree in, so you're sure that it's wet underneath. And then I'm just adding more soil. Now I'm just watering it, and you notice some perlite rising to the surface. That's normal. And the top dressing will help make sure that if it's windy in our balcony, it won't blow off, and it provides extra moisture. And I'll put some space between the tree's trunk and the top dressing so that she can feel the soil. Looking at the soil, sometimes the color can be deceiving. You might think it's really wet and not water it, but feeling it, if it's really wet or damp or just moist. So you'll know when it's time to water it, when it's a bit dry to the touch on the surface and a bit lower by an inch or two. It's time to water it. The tree likes its soil moist, but not, it doesn't want to be swimming in water. That's why we need the drainage to be really good. So I'm just washing it here. And that's a cute little tree for my friend for Christmas. I do have one issue though. The water didn't go down as fast. So I'm having drainage issues, so I have to get the tree out again. I know it's not the soil with all of the amendments we placed. I know it's a drainage hole, and it's something I should have fixed before putting the tree in. And now I had to take it out and do everything all over again. My goodness. But it's okay. It's for my friend, and I don't want to give her something I'll regret. So I have to bring out the drill, and we'll be getting a wire mesh. We'll be cutting. You can get any mesh you have at home from an old screen or some extra you didn't get to use, and you'll be putting that. It would be good to put that at the bottom when the hole is bigger so that the soil won't go out. Now I had to bring out the drill, and I'm using a smaller drill bit here, trying to make the hole bigger. And I'm using a concrete drill bit. There are different kinds of drill bits. There's one for wood, one for steel, and there's one for concrete. So make sure you use the right kind. And I'm just looking at the hole there, and I brought out the bigger drill bit now. I'm being careful because I don't want to crack the pot. So I'm doing it really in stages. And there you go. Yay! drilled a hole. Thumbs up for me. And there I am going on the sides of the hole so that it'll be bigger. I don't want her to have any drainage issues. Can you see how big it is now? You can see the grass on the other side, so I'm happy about that. Okay, now to do what I did earlier, and this time I'm putting a mesh or a screen. There was a time I was desperate. I even cut some tulle from an old dress. It helps. Okay, so there's the soil. Now the soil is wet already because I watered it already earlier. So the water won't go down as fast as it normally could, but because it's already saturated. But I will still be able to see how fast it'll go. And I'm sure it will go down well because of the drainage hole being bigger. And there's our tree. Back in our new home.
Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. Well, I'm all for Christmas. It's a magical time full of kisses.
Now the Norfolk Island Pine, or the living Christmas tree, is native to Norfolk Island, over 1,400 kilometers east of Sydney, Australia. It is a coniferous evergreen. It has cones and it has its leaves all year round. They love their lights, so rotate your tree's containers when kept indoors or in balconies so the tree gets enough sunlight on all sides, or it will lean towards one side. Now, a while ago I just dumped the rocks really fast, and I decided to take things a little bit slow. Sometimes slow is smooth, so that's what I'm doing right now. The nice thing about gardening is it gives you time to think about things, think about life, slow down, and try to figure things out. And you'll see lots of parallelisms, with life. And I'm just putting the rocks carefully, almost as if in a way where I'm meditating while moving. But when I was younger, I used to think Christmas was for me and the gifts I'll get. And as I got older, I started, shifting to thinking about others and what I could give them. And as I got a little older, I started thinking, whose birthday is it really? Who should I be giving a gift to? Not that I shouldn't give gifts to my friends and family, but we sometimes forget the true celebrant of Christmas, and I always think of something I could give him. After all, he did give me the most precious gift, the gift of eternal life. So I think of Jesus when you spend your Christmas with family or friends. Okay? So there's our tree.
All ye faithful, joyful and triumphant, come ye to Bethlehem.
Now water your trees regularly, but the soil must be well drained. You can water them when the soil is dry, the top 2 inches. Ideal temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, 45 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, although I've had my trees at higher temperatures than that. They grow to up to 2 meters indoors, 61 outdoors. My trees are ranging between 9 to 11 right now. They love humidity, so if you can keep them over a catch plate with stones and water, or you can spray them with a mister. So I'm just adding a few little things, a few Christmas balls. just to make it a little more special, although the tree on its own is already beautiful.
Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging.
You see that tiny extension? Hopefully by December they can put a tiny star on it. That will grow into another tier. As long as they don't cut it, the tree will retain its triangular shape, which we love so much and associate with Christmas trees. And those are my trees. They were once that small, and look how high they've grown. In just 12 years, they used to be a meter high, and now they're 9 to 11 meters. And this is my friend's tiny tree, and it'll be in a good place. So that's the Araucaria heterophylla, living Christmas tree, or Norfolk Island Pine. I hope you enjoyed your time with us. I hope you have a meaningful Christmas. May you have a blessed Christmas. And as always, have a great day.
Oh, Christmas tree, such pleasure
God bless.
bring